It's that real this time around. Technique. Revolutionary Volume 2. It's on now, motherfucker. Lock and load. This is the point of no return. I can never go back. Life without parole. Upstage, shackled and trapped. Living in the hole. Looking at the world through a crack. Fuck that. I'd rather shoot it out and get clapped.
This is KEXU 96.1 FM LP, Pole People's Revolutionary Radio, Radio Pobre. This is JV and you're on Free Azlan. Today I want to talk about national liberation. So, a lot of people talk about national liberation, and I'm just going to clarify what exactly that means. First of all, you have to have a nation in order to seek out national liberation. So there has to be a nation involved. There has to be national interests involved. There has to be a people that form a nation. A nation is not just a group of people that come together, call themselves a nation. According to Stalin, he defined a nation as people with a common culture, language, economy, territory, and psychological makeup. So culture, language, economy, territory, and psychological makeup. This is what binds people together and where they form a nation. So for us, for the Chicano nation, for us to form a nation, these are commonalities that we have come to develop living under U.S. imperialism. When America stole the states from Mexico, we were from that point on living under a different kind of oppression, living under U.S. oppression, American oppression, and while our territories were occupied. So this led to a development in us as a people into a nation, into the Chicano nation. And, some would say, well, it doesn't matter that you developed in the ways that you developed. It doesn't matter that the raza developed under U.S. imperialism because it doesn't matter. This raza is still connected to Mexico. But that's not the case. And if we would look at a nation such as Haiti, and if we were to approach the Haitians and tell them, you guys are still Kenyans, your national interest is with Somalia, they would tell you they were Haitians. They developed into Haitians into a new nation. They developed a new language. They developed a culture that is distinct from Somalia. And this is what happens to people around the world. They develop into nations. And this is due in part to the oppressive state that they're existing under and finding ways to exist under. And it happened to Haiti, and it happened to many other countries around the world. And so it's important that we understand that we can't be fighting for national liberation if we don't even define ourselves as a nation. Some, believe that there are no nations, but that's ridiculous. There would be no Mexico without there being nations, without national borders. At this stage, nations are necessary. So long as imperialism exists, so long as capitalism exists, there's a need for nations and for national liberation. Not just here, but around the world. So it's important that we understand what a nation is, how a people develop into a nation in order for us to understand national liberation. And, there's also a thing with national interests, with, national minorities. There's a thing with regional autonomy. There's many different things when we talk about a nation becoming liberated, because there's going to be other oppressed peoples within the nation's borders that the new state has to address, and that's something that we'd have to get into at that time. But it's important we understand what national liberation is, especially for our people, for Raza here living under U.S. imperialism, And we can't obtain freedom unless we first understand what that freedom's going to look like. For the Chicano nation, the states that were stolen from Mexico, have developed into a nation. So many people now are fighting in order to secede from the U.S., in order to liberate these states and to form a new people's republic. Whether, how the people decide on that's up to the people, but that's one form of resistance that's going on. This is what some people are organizing and struggling for at this time. And there's many different ways of struggling and many different ways of liberating the raza here, and this is just one of them. And this is a perspective from the Chicano nation, from the Chicano revolutionary nationalist standpoint. But, I wanted to, on another note, I wanted to address a few things going on in our community. And so I'll start with on June 16th, this Saturday from 12 noon to 4:30 p.m., California Prison Folks, which will be having a community celebration for human rights and dignity. This will be held in downtown Oakland, and there will be a way of liberating the voices from those in prison. There will be speakers, music, there will be reading, there will be culture, revolutionary culture. So we ask that you come down to downtown Oakland from 12 noon to 4:30 p.m. on June 16th. There's also going to be on June 30th the Defense Committee, which I'm also a part of, in regards to the Teodoro Vasquez Liberation School. We'll be having an event on Migra Terror. This will be June 30th from 1 to 4 p.m. And this will be at the Centro Chicomostoc de Azlan, which is the center for the Barrio Defense Committee as well. And the address there is 47 East William Street, San Jose, Califa, Azlan. And you can find out more if you go to Facebook and punch in Barrio Defense Committee. You'll see the page, and you can message and find out more information. Lastly, Saturday, July 14th, the San Jose Brown Berets, which I'm also a part of, will be having an event as well. This event is called Silently Loud, and it's going to be at the Local Color, which is an art gallery. It's on South 1st Street, San Jose, Califa, Azlan, 95113, and this is Saturday, July 14th. And this is going to be an event where it's going to address sexual abuse, gender oppression, and this is a fundraiser for those who've been suffering this forms of abuse and gender oppression. Gender oppression takes many forms. And, I believe there's going to be some information on explaining exactly what gender oppression entails, and I might note that there will never be gender liberation until there's national liberation. So, to keep in mind as well, because, gender won't be free, just like the nation won't be free, or the class won't be free. Nation, class, and gender. None of these things will be free until there's national liberation. You can't talk about class liberation. It's never going to happen until there's national liberation, until oppressed people are free, and then genders will be free and classes will be free as well. So it starts with national liberation. So that's going to be the Brown Beret event, Silently Loud, Saturday, July 14th. And they're also looking for vendors and other people to come and speak, so you can reach them at sanjosebb.org and learn more, and message them and get more information on that. There's also, I want to mention, National Prison Strike, and this is going to go on August 21st, and this is put on by the Bay Area National Prison Strike Solidarity Committee, which I'm a part of as well. And this is important because this is a national prison strike going on throughout these false U.S. borders. And this prison strike is addressing all the stuff and all the oppression and all the prisons, the concentration camps throughout the U.S. As a survivor, I know how important this is. I was there during the big strike I had in 2013. I understand what putting your life on the line is all about. I understand how it feels when you haven't eaten and you feel like you're going to die. You got the pigs coming through, telling you to tell your family to pick out your casket. You got the pigs coming through telling you that nobody cares whether you live or die. I seen it, heard it, and I understand what these prisoners are going through. Even though I'm outside of the concrete prison, I'm out here in this bigger concentration camp, and we're still suffering and struggling, and we haven't forgot about our sisters and brothers who continue to be behind what we're here struggling with. We're going to help to ensure that their struggles are amplified, their coverage on what's occurring in these prisons and the torture and abuse that's occurring. You know, particularly in Pelican Bay, they're still doing the sleep deprivation where they're waking people up every half hour. I remember being next to when I got out the shoe, they put me in a cell right next to the door, and they would come in and slam the door every half hour, and it sounded like a gunshot going off every 30 minutes. They did that to me the whole time, the whole year I was out there on the so-called general population. So I understand what psychological warfare is and torture, prison torture, and all prison torture is another form of national oppression. It all comes to national struggle. So we got national oppression and national liberation. And so this is what prisons are. These are concentration camps built to ensure that national oppression continues. So we're out here with our sisters and brothers, and we'll be standing with them in unity on August 21st, so the day, the anniversary when they assassinated George Jackson. So we'll be here to ensure this prison strike runs smoothly, and this is a prison-led strike led by prisoners across these false U.S. borders. So this is it for today's program, and I'll see you all next week. I'm JV, and this is 96.1 KEXU FMLP, Paul People's Revolutionary Radio, and this was Free Azlan.